I thought it was impossible to understand what my competitors were doing, but really everything has a track and there's a way to really understand what they're going to do and be a move ahead. In this video, I'm going to explore why understanding your competition is crucial to really be able to win in this market. And there are 6 tactics, very, very clear, that you could follow to be able to outsmart your competition. And I've learned there's several ways that you could do to really understand what your competition is going to do in the future, so you could outsmart and be on front of your competition. Let me walk you through these 6 ideas. First, understand their strengths and weaknesses. If you understand their strengths and weaknesses, the probability of you understanding what they're going to do next is pretty logical. You just have to apply the logic if you understand what are their strengths and how the market is moving. So instead of just trying to navigate without understanding what's going on, get a deep dive, get a study, understand why they do what they do, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and then say, okay, if I had that strength or I had that weakness, what would I do? And you could really kind of understand or get ideas of what they could do in the future. 2, anticipate their moves. Most of your competitors, they tell you what they're going to do. They start putting ads, they put a press release, they do all these things to start saying what they're going to do in the future. So keep an eye on what are their communication and be able to anticipate what they're going to do. If you start seeing certain communications, you could expect they're going to do something after that. Be very, very open to understand and hear what your competitors are saying and be able to anticipate what they're going to do based on what they're saying. Number 3, learn from your competitors. Your competitors are trying to win the same market you're trying to win. So what they do, study what they do. You could learn from what they do that works and what they do that doesn't work. If they do something that works, most likely you're going to see they're going to continue doing it. Whenever I see an ad that I think is a really bad ad or a video, and it continues to be shown in TV or on social media, it's telling me that it's working. No one's going to run an ad that is losing money. So if they continue to put an ad, that means that that ad is winning. It's working. So I want to study that, and that teach me a lot of what they're seeing, what they're liking, and how they're going to react in the next step. Embrace the 4th option. And this is something I learned from Kaihan Krippendorf. He has a book called Outsmart Your Competition. And Kaihan has a format based on these 6 things on how to really understand what your competitors are going to do and try to be beyond obvious. I really, really like the way that he walked you through, said, okay, these are the logical things they're going to do. Now that you understand their communication, understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their communication, what they're doing, you could say, okay, if I was doing that, I could do these 2 or 3 things. But then what's the 4th option? What's the crazy thing they could do? And try to be creative about crazy ideas that they could do based on what you've seen. And by the way, if they don't do them, you could probably execute them first. And if they do them, you could be prepared on how to outsmart them or how to be prepared not to get affected by them. So yes, it's important to understand the 2 or 3 logical things. Try to think creatively outside of the box and think different things outside of the box. And that will help you see what you think they could think and why or how they're reacting. And 5th, Kaihan has a framework called the ideas framework. Number 1, imagine, define your long-term vision and the impact you want to make in the world. Really, really clear what you want to do, where you want to be in the future, and just imagine that first. Then dissect and analyze your business identity, what's working, what's not working, and do the same for your competitors. What is working for them, what's not working, and what's their strengths and weaknesses. 3rd, expand and generate in a logic way and a creative way what they're doing or what they can do. You said, hey, if I had those strengths and weaknesses, or I was in their position, this is what I would do. Or just invent crazy things. And that will give you an idea of what they're thinking. Like you could think crazy ideas or what's logical next steps. I imagine your competition is doing the same thing. Your competitors are humans like you. They're seeing the same data as you. So you could really think what they're going to do, or even think crazy ideas they could do. If you really understand your competitors, their messaging, their strengths and weaknesses. Analyze, evaluate all the ideas and said, okay, which one do you think they're going to do based on your evaluation? And then 4th, sell. You have to sell it to your team, align your team, your shareholders, stakeholders, to be able to do something really, really focused that has a big impact in the market. We see a lot of companies, they create great strategies, but then they cannot sell it to their investors, to their team members, to their clients, and that's why they could not execute it. So once you've decided on a strategy, you have to make the best effort to sell it in the best way to your clients, to the market, or to your shareholders. And the last one, shift your paradigm. And this is really important. You usually have certain paradigms, the way you see the market, the way you expect people to react. Just shift that. Get different ideas. Have a conversation with a creative friend or someone in a different industry and say, hey, if you were here, what would you do? Get some external ideas. As an example, I love to go every year to a conference that is not from my industry. And people say, that's a waste of time. You're going to go to a conference, you're going to not learn anything. I was like, no, I'm going to be the only one of my industry in that conference. And in that conference, they're going to share their problems and how they're fixing their problem or really taking advantage of their opportunities. And I could see in their industry what problems they're having, how they're fixing it, how creative ideas they're implementing, or what are they doing in that industry, and then be able to extrapolate those ideas and bring them to my industry. So I really love to go to other industries conference, and be able to understand how they're doing, how they're implementing new ideas, creative ideas, how they're outthinking their competition, who's leading the industry. And that gives me great ideas to bring to my industry and be able to outthink my competition. Understanding your competition is not just a luxury, it's a must today. Today, the markets are extremely competitive. There's too many companies. Capital was very cheap in the last 20 years in the world, and there's a lot of competitors. While the market stays the way there is, there's going to be a lot of competitors that are selling stock and getting finance very, very cheap. And they're there even if they don't provide a lot of value. So it's really, really important that you're more strategic than them and be able to outthink them so you could really win in the market. All right, hope you like this. And by the way, once you have all of this, now you have to implement in your business. And the tool that I use the most to do this is the one-page strategic plan by Vern Harnish. This is a document he teaches in his book, Scaling Up. And it's a one-page plan, an operating plan that you have to lay out your strategy, what you're going to do, your brand promise, your BHAG, your core competencies, your weaknesses and stuff. And once you put it in paper, you have to be very, very clear to write it in paper. So it obligates me as a CEO to have a very, very clear and distinct strategy written in the paper so I could get it right. So once I do all the strategy, understand my competitors, their strengths, weaknesses, everything, then I'm going to build my own strategy, put it in a one-page plan so it helps me execute it with this. There's the link below. I strongly recommend you download the one-page plan and write your one-page plan in your strategy. Thank you. Look forward to see you on the next video.